Welcome into the Proper Picks podcast. We are in the final segment of the show today. We're in the Best Bet segment, and for the first time in our 8 months of doing this, we are putting the Best Bet segment now up on YouTube. First parts of the show is obviously just sports talk, anything that's happening around the sports globe, any news, stuff like that. And then the last portion of our show is all dedicated towards the gambling and the picks that we are giving out for that day or for the week. Since we are now hitting college football, we felt it would be great to just be able to throw it up on YouTube midweek so people who are looking for free plays, looking for picks can go on and, take a look at us. The goal for us is just to provide profit for anybody that wants to take our plays. So far, if you've been following us, we are up 49.83 units for our time so far. A lot of learning going on as far as, quality over quantity, holding back on those parlays, through the end of the football season, which is where we started this last year, was in late November. So we only had 2 weeks of regular season college football and bowl games. And then we kind of transitioned into college and pro basketball. And then over the summer, we've been betting baseball and golf. Had some really nice runs. We found our way a little groove here of late. Golf's been very friendly to us, and we've been able to get a nice little profit roll started. So today we're talking out the gate, we're going to talk Tour Championship. So this one's a little different in the sense that this is a staggered start. Guys, depending on their finish of the BMW Championship second round of the playoffs, they'll be starting at 10 under and working their way all the way down to even for the top 30, the 30 guys that are playing. The tricky part about this is you're not going to get odds starting at 10-1 and working their way up, or you can find a lot of great value in a guy who's getting 28, 30, 35-1 and putting a unit down on it and getting that massive payoff. This week's a little more strategy driven because, for example, our first bet, Scotty Scheffler, he's getting plus 185 on the money line to win, and it's because he's got a 2-stroke lead to start the event. We went ahead and took him for a unit. It's kind of not a safety measure, but we're going to go ahead and take the guy who's got the lead. And we laid 3.5 units bets individually on 3 guys that we think we're going to have a chance. So it kind of gives us a safety net. If Scotty wins, we're going to get 1.85 units out of that, and we lose 1.5 with our 0.5 plays. But if we can scratch one of these guys in the middle tier and win, we can look to hit that profit. We've obviously got the top 5 and top 10 bets coming as well. Those can be really where you get ahead on your profits. So Scotty Scheffler we'll take for a unit at plus 185. John Rahm, we're going to take 13.5-1 for a half unit. Rahm's just been a beast pretty much his whole career, but over the last couple of weeks, he's played really well on the weekends, mid-60s type rounds. He's starting behind the 8 ball here, about 5-6 strokes back. So over 4 days, he's got some room to make up. But that's about 7.25 unit pickup if we can get him for the win. Rory, we're taking at 10-1 for a half unit. If you follow golf, you know Rory. He's going to be there. He hasn't been, other than the British a couple months ago, he hasn't really been on the first page of the leaderboard, but he plays well at this golf course. Eastlake has always been very friendly to him. Cam Smith, we're taking at 21-1, basically plus 2,100 for a half unit. He's been probably the hottest golfer of the year besides Cam Smith, maybe Will Zalatoris, who's withdrawn from this event, but we're going to take Cam there. He is kind of a flyer here. That's a 10.5 unit pickup if we can snag the W there. So those are going to be your 4 winner bets. Top 5, we're taking Rahm at plus 179 for 1 unit and JT at plus 265 for a half unit. JT in particular plays really well at this golf course, and he's not that far out of the top 5 to start that it's, unfathomable that he can get there. I think this guy has an opportunity to win. Just didn't want to throw him in my winner bets because I was a little more confident in my other 4, and I like the value of the odds we were getting. Moving into the top 10, we've got Cam Smith minus 140 for a unit and Justin Thomas minus 130 for a unit. All rules apply here on this in the same top 5, top 10 fashion as that. We're going to be looking for guys that are going to be there at the end and have proven they play well at Eastlake and they play well in this big money event. Keep in mind the winner of this event is going to be taking down $18 million. So there's a little more pressure on these guys in this event than, say, your normal Wyndham Championship and stuff like that. It should be an exciting finish. We're looking forward to hopefully grabbing a couple more units as we roll into college football. Secondly, today we'll be talking about futures. We've got 5 futures laid out. We laid all 5 of these through the Beau Rivage down in Biloxi. You can get almost all props and futures down there through them. Love that place. To start, we have 3 units out on Bama. That's plus 190 to win the national championship. When I lay a natty bet, it's as simple as, do I feel like this team's going to have an opportunity to make it to the end, be in a position that they will be, positioning themselves for the playoff, and can they withstand a couple injuries and still get there? Football is a game of injuries. I think Bama is stacked on defense, led by Will Anderson. They've got like 3 guys on the AP All-SEC first defense. Should show you how good they are there. They returned the Heisman Trophy winner. Will he win the Heisman this year? I don't know. Probably not, just due to Heisman fatigue. But we've got a really good opportunity with Jahmyr Gibbs transferring in there from Georgia Tech. They'll be loaded at receiver as usual, and the O-line should be a little better. All of this leads me to believe they're going to be there at the end. So I think getting plus 190 on them now is pretty tasty, because I feel like when we get down to late November, early December, that number is going to be minus 110, minus 120, somewhere in that range. And I feel like that gives us a little closing line value there, considering we jumped on it early. The second future bet we're taking is Auburn over 6.5 wins for the season. I got some buddies who were like, well, of course you did, because I'm an Auburn guy. But I'm like, man, you obviously don't follow me that much, because usually when Auburn's in a bet of mine, it's me betting against them, not for them. I know this team like the back of my hand, so betting against them sometimes is almost easy. And with this, it's as simple as this. Auburn opens with 5 straight home games. They're one of the most dominant home teams in the country. LSU and Penn State will be the 2 of the 5 games out the gate that will be tricky. I got this feeling we're going to go 1-1 in that scenario, and we'll be 4-1 running into the last 7 games, which pretty much means you need to go 3-4 to finish the season to get your bets. You'll have games against A&M and Alabama, which will probably go down as L's, but you'll have Western Kentucky, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, there's opportunities to get these W's, and I feel fairly confident that we're gonna go ahead and scoop that play there. That's coming in at plus 140, so even more, advantage here. You're getting a dog line on that. It's not a minus 110 bet, so you're gonna get a little extra juice on the payout. Moving into the NFL, we've got a 1-unit play on the Kansas City Chiefs. 9-1 on them to win the Super Bowl. It's same scenario as the Bama bet. I think they're going to be there at the end. I like Patty Mahomes. Who doesn't? They lose Tyreek Hill. They add Juju. It's not an even swap, but I've got a good feeling that the Chiefs will either lock down a wild card or win that division again this year. Love Patty Mahomes in crunch time. One of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you've obviously got Andy Reid calling the plays, running kind of, maybe if he's not even calling the plays, he's managing their offensive playbook. So we're looking for a 9-1 payout there. That'll be a fun one if we can get down to the Super Bowl. Jags under 6 wins for the season at plus 140. Pretty simple. I'm not going to elaborate too much. The Jags are terrible. They got 2 easy games against Houston that might be their 2 only wins, in my opinion. There's literally a good opportunity that this team doesn't win another ball game. They're not going to go 2-15. Let's just be honest. That's pretty hard to do, even when you suck. But for them to win 7 games this year just seems like a stretch, and I'm getting a dog bet here at plus 140. We'll put a unit on that and run with it. Last game, this might be, I don't know, depending on what side of the country you're from, this could be unpopular, but I'm taking the Steelers under 7.5 at minus 105 for a unit. Vegas obviously thinks this thing's going to be close, so they're putting it at minus 105, but I just don't know. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be the quarterback by the end of the year. I don't think he's ready. I don't think Pickens, who has looked really good in camp, someone's got to get that dude the ball. The defense for the Steelers should be good, but when you're playing the Bengals twice, the Ravens twice, the Browns twice, and even the Browns are going to be quarterback-less to start the season. And then all the teams the Steelers got to play outside of their division, it just seems tricky for me to go through that schedule and be very non-biased and find 8 wins. If I give them a win here, then I look over here, and that's a question mark. I give them the loss there, there's the question mark. It's just question marks all over the board, and I just don't see that thing getting to 8. And then moving into this week 0, this will be our only play of college football for this week. The motto is quality over quantity. With 11 games, you really got to live that strategy. As we move into next week, and there's 50-some-odd games, we'll obviously have some more plays. We've already got several bets already locked in for next week. They will be available on the podcast and YouTube stream for next week as well. But for this week, we are taking Hawaii for a unit and a half +8 versus Vanderbilt. I've seen Vandy play probably more than most people, just being down here in the South. Talent-wise, last year it was trash. They didn't have a good recruiting class. They are returning one of the worst defenses in the conference in the SEC and in the country in total when it comes to Power 5. Hawaii's obviously not the best West Coast team there is, but the thing about Hawaii is they play really well at home. They open well usually against Power 5 teams, and usually they're playing a better team than Vanderbilt. This seems very equal to me, like almost to the point where +245 on that money line is standing out to me. But since it is week 1, we don't all the way know what we're getting. Hawaii's got a new coach, local hero, played quarterback for them. He's rejuvenated the program, they're saying. We're just going to go ahead and just take the 8. It seems like a gift. If we can get a last possession ball game here, we are ahead of schedule in doing what we're doing. I'd love to take a nice little 1.5 unit profit into the real week 1 where we've got 3 or 4 already lined up. So if you can, go ahead and lock them down. If you want to hold off, wait. Most people are a little shy early when it comes to gambling on football. Some people come swinging out the gates. The goal here is just to steadily accrue units and, chase the bag. That's the motto. Make sure to follow me at the Proper Picks Pod on Twitter. We drop daily picks there, live bets, any funny content we find, any of our sports stuff that we like to talk about. I'd love to get some feedback in the comments with some picks that you guys are looking at. I love kind of conversating back and forth. I'm not shy about piggybacking a hot player, anybody, that is collecting units as well. Anything that's released on here is an official play, or anything that's released on Twitter is official. We track all the records. You'll see a page after the video of our all-time records, some last year stats, some current this year stats, anything y'all want to see. Hope everybody has a great day. Make sure you're betting proper because anything else will be uncivilized.